Hey there and welcome to Channeling Atticus. I'm Matt Green, attorney, former prosecutor, former municipal judge, and someone who's spent a whole lot of time in courtrooms. This show is all about breaking down legal issues that can affect everyday people, because whether you realize it or not, the law touches all of our lives. And speaking of everyday legal issues, today we're diving into a big one. If you get pulled over for suspicion of DUI, should you take the breathalyzer test? Now, I know what you're thinking, Matt, just give me a simple yes or no. But like most things in the law, the answer is it depends. Let's break it down. There are actually two types of breath tests officers may use in a DUI stop, and understanding the difference is key. First, there's the portable breath test, or PBT. This is the little handheld device officers may use on the side of the road. The important thing to know about the PBT, it is not admissible in court. Meaning if you blow into it and it says your blood alcohol content is over the legal limit, that specific number can't be used against you in a trial. However, an officer can testify that the PBT detected the presence of alcohol. So, while it's not a slam dunk piece of evidence, it can contribute to the officer's probable cause for arrest. Now, the second test, the Draeger device, or the Intoximeter's Intox DMT dual sensor. This is the one they use after you've been arrested back at the police station or jail. And this test is admissible in court. If you blow over the legal limit on this device, a Draeger, that's evidence the prosecution can use against you. Now, let's talk strategy. If you take the PBT and you're over 0.08, that's a strong indicator you'll be over on the Draeger, the admissible breath test too. So what happens if you refuse the tests? First, let me clear up a common misconception. Some people think that refusing any test automatically means you lose your driver's license. That's not exactly true, at least not here in Alabama. Refusing the PBT, the roadside test, does not trigger a license suspension. However, refusing the Draeger or the Intoximeter DMT dual sensor test, the one given after arrest, does carry administrative consequences, including a potential license suspension. More on that later. So what should you do? Well, that depends on the situation. If you're clearly over the limit, taking the Draeger or DMT dual sensor test just gives the prosecution solid evidence against you. But if you refuse, some prosecutors may be less inclined to cut you a break. Either way, here's the golden rule. Do not try to argue your case on the side of the road. The best thing you can do is politely decline to answer questions beyond providing your basic information and say, I would like to speak to an attorney. Look, I get it. Nobody wants to get pulled over, and interacting with law enforcement can be stressful. But remember this, you'll never find a more powerful person in that moment than the officer standing outside your car window, arguing, debating constitutional law, or getting defensive. It's not going to help. In fact, it usually makes things worse. So what should you do after a DUI arrest? That's simple. Call an attorney and do it quickly. The next day is best. You only have 10 days from the date of your arrest to appeal your license suspension. The state can suspend your license if you blow a .08 or higher, or you refuse the Draeger or Intoximeter DMT dual sensor test. They only give you 10 days to appeal. Yes, that's right. State can suspend your license before you even go to court, and even if you are ultimately acquitted or your case is dismissed or null prost. Sounds crazy, right? That's why you need a lawyer ASAP. Don't mess around with this. Many lawyers, myself included, offer free DUI consultations for criminal cases like DUIs. A good attorney will walk you through your options, look at the evidence, and help you build the best possible defense. At the end of the day, knowing your rights and understanding the law can make a huge difference. That's exactly why I started this Channeling Atticus podcast, to give you the knowledge you need before you find yourself in a tough spot. If you need any legal services or consultation, contact me at the law office of Matt Green in Mobile, Alabama. Please visit mattgreen.lawyer. That's Matt, M-A-T-T Green, like the color.lawyer, or call 251-434-8500. All right, folks, that's all for today's episode. If you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe and share with a friend. And if you've got a legal question you'd like me to cover on the show, send it my way. Until next time, stay safe, make good choices, and remember, knowledge is power. This podcast has been hosted by Matt Green and is not intended to, nor does it create the attorney-client privilege between our host, guests, or contributors, or any listener for any reason. Content from the podcast is not to be interpreted as legal advice. All thoughts and opinions expressed herein are only those from which they came. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.